Hello everybody, just a real quick video just to let you know my computer went completely mental and I've had to reinstall Windows, wipe the whole thing. Too much dodgy pieces of software on there just finally caught up with me and bit me on the ass, and unfortunately from now on you're not going to see my ugly little mug in the corner. I will get my watermark back for what it's worth, but at the end of the day it's the chart that's important and it's the information that's important, so I don't think you will miss seeing my face in the corner. I certainly won't miss seeing my face in the corner. So what I'm going to talk about now is just very briefly as to what is going on with Bitcoin and what's likely to happen in the next 2 days, the next 36 hours basically. So we had this huge move over a 24-hour period, over $3,000 in one go, huge, massive, but then again we had a huge wick from top to bottom. That was never a really good sign, a sign that consolidation is definitely going to take place, a consolidation of perhaps maybe retracing at least by half. So probably coming back down to test the centre of this Bollinger Band where it is currently, or at least the 200 EMA, which at the moment is pretty level. It's slightly moving up a little bit now, slightly, but that area is roughly 8,488, give or take. We'll call it 8,500 to be, but like I say, it's within a certain range of that area. That's why I would expect this consolidation to eventually take us. However, I don't have any bias whether it's going up or down. I think what's going on now, so long as we're above the 200 EMA, and even if we're above the this green 50 EMA, I would actually have a little bit of a bias to the bulls. But this move was so big and so fast that consolidation could quite easily bring us down to this level, and this level is a dangerous one, even though I would expect a bounce from there. It could break down from there again, and then we'll be back down to where we were. Now, there's a few things that's going to happen at the moment. We're looking to close a monthly, and the monthlies were red. This one was also red until just recently. The fact that we had 3 red candles in a row was the first time that's ever happened in Bitcoin's history, but I'll disregard that. It doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to hold on to the fact that that's the first time and is this going to be a bad thing. It was just an interesting, I suppose, a talking point, anecdotal really, and one of those things that might unnecessarily be scary. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is a 10-year-old asset, which is no time at all. It's had 2 full cycles and it's in its 3rd cycle at the moment. That's no time for anyone to really map out anything like that. Not that that really means anything in the first place. What we're looking to do now is chart it out in a very, very short time frame, and I'm talking the next few days. We can all say that over the next couple of years, Bitcoin is certainly going to be doing very well, regardless of something like this being an anomaly, a first timer. There was also another first time event. If we go back to the daily, we had this 242, this red moving average here. That had never been broken in the history of Bitcoin's bull market history as well, and that proved to be a bit of a moment for it, because when it did break, it broke pretty dramatically. So there was a lot of, you could probably call it bots and algos, looking to capitalize on that move. However, when it did get down to this level, I did expect to bounce, but I did not expect a bounce like this. I bought it back here expecting it to reach around 7,700, where I closed my long, because I don't sit at my computer all day, unfortunately. I can't do that kind of thing. So I made a bit of profit, but I missed out on a hell of a lot more. Never mind. But anyway, like I say, this was a first time event, never happened before. But again, a 10-year-old asset, it can do things that it's never done before. It's still very, very young in the grand scheme of things. So what's happening right now? We are finding support on this $9,000 area, which is also coincidentally, I would probably say, it's just a coincidence that our 200 simple is there. So we're bouncing on the 9,000, also the 200 simple. If this area were to break down, we do have areas where we can be picked up from, around 8,800, which is also where the green 50 EMA is. If that breaks down though, we'll find our bounces along the cloud at the bottom here, around about 8,600 or so, also where the 10 simple is. But the most important one is if we do break down significantly, I would expect a bounce on this green, on this white 200 EMA. And finally, if that breaks down, then this should offer us a giant support, which is all the way down and moving up around about 8,200, which is the lowest I would expect it to go. Now, if it does break down, after that, then we are talking the original bear moves that we were referring to earlier on in the video, which we mapped out on the weekly, which would have brought us down to this cloud here, or the green, or the purple 50 simple, which is around about 6,800 to 6,600. That's not completely out of the question at the moment. Like I say, we're consolidating, and consolidations after a move like that can turn pretty nasty, because then people know that it's going to come down, and people, after seeing a wick like this, people were waiting to pick up on these shorts, and then, to be honest with you, shorting from here. So there has been quite a lot of weight placed on Bitcoin with shorts. A lot of people taking profit too, but much of this move has been based off Tether, so there will be a lot of people that bought in on this and are probably holding on to their Bitcoin, hoping for a further pump. So there's strength on either sides, but the weight at the moment, it looks to me as if it's wanting to push it down to these levels, and it's the $9,000 area that needs to break first before we start to incrementally step down onto all these moving averages. Now, the worst case scenario, really, if this consolidation breaks down beneath the 50 EMA and rests upon the 200 EMA, we might start to form, or begin to appear to form, that death cross that we came ever so close to forming. We do have a death cross, however, here on the simple moving averages, but they don't generally, even though they do count for something, they don't hold as much weight as an exponential, which we avoided, and it's that exponential that's propping us up. If this comes back down to test this level and actually comes back down onto this 242, the death cross may happen after all, and then that will bring us down over time. The one thing that I generally held a lot of weight on, and I still generally do, is the Ichimoku cloud, where we do have a cross from the conversion on the baseline on the weekly, which took place here. That usually spells a continuation of a downwards trend, and it's usually it's usually pretty reliable. We had one over here, and we continued all the way down to 3,000 from this level here, which was 11,500, and it's also good at telling us that there's going to be a continuation of a move. It doesn't tell us that the move is about to start, it tells us that the move is going to continue, and we had a continuation of this move here when we had the Ichimoku cloud cross, and sorry, I'll just bloody phone calls. And we had a continuation all the way up to 14,000. So I do hold a lot of weight onto this, and I would expect it to play out. So a continuation of this move could still be on the cards. And, you know, it's not out of the realms of possibilities for us to come back down into the 6,000 area. But again, I'd hold no bias. I've got conflicting information here. The long-term time frames suggest it's going to continue down. Doesn't mean it's going to completely collapse out of the sky. But what it does suggest is that it will consolidate further down, and maybe we'll rest upon the 8,200 area before we have a bounce. We might tail off around this area, but I'm not really expecting giant big moves as of yet. Like I say, we go close the monthly. If we can close the monthly above 10,000, I'll be certainly bullish. If this comes right back down in the next couple of days, I'll be absolutely 100% bearish. But at the moment, we're right in the middle, and the battle is going to be taking place within this next 36 hours, and we will see some pretty volatile situation going on within these next 36 hours, and it's one that I am personally looking to avoid, because, like I say, it could go either way. Once the monthly closes and it's decided its direction, then we can reassess and we can look at picking up some Bitcoin for whether it be longs or shorts. But for the moment, let's stand back and watch the show and see what happens over this next 36 hours, bringing us up to the 1st of November. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice evening, and take it easy.